Chapter 50 Hell Strangulation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The giant snake rolled painfully on the ground, its huge body rolling and slapping wildly on the ground. For a moment, the surrounding area within 100 meters was filled with smoke and dust, and loud noises echoed. Where the giant snake's tail and limbs twisted, all the trees broke and fell, leaving deep gullies on the ground. Ming stepped back and watched this scene coldly. At the same time, he secretly urged the Shen sword to violently chop in the giant snake's belly. From the outside, no clues could be seen, but only the giant snake knew how lawless the Shen sword was in its abdominal cavity. Ming still felt that it was not enough. He raised his hand and waved, urging the skill of the sky-falling sword tomb. A huge stone sword fell from the sky and smashed down, directly smashed a part of the giant snake's body, making it bloody and shattered. After all, this was blunt damage, and iron scales were difficult to resist. Soon, green blood flowed from the giant snake's mouth. The giant snake's health value fell madly, and soon it was less than 70%. Leah in the distance, her eyes trembled. She hid behind the boulder, shocked. "Brother Ming, he is so thin, why can he fight such a terrifying giant snake? One person can fight alone, and not lose." She was surprised and confused. Ming's strength exceeded anyone she had ever seen. Even the second-level village chief was buried in the bloody mouth of the giant snake. Could this brother be a third-level master among the human race? She was shocked by Ming's strength. She watched Ming's fighting movements and postures intently, wanting to learn from them. She also wanted to become so strong, so that she could protect herself and her friends. At this moment, a seed of desire to become strong was planted in her heart. Roar. The roar of the giant snake was deafening. Suddenly, it glared at Ming and rushed over. Its huge mouth opened, and from its two fangs, it spewed rotten pus. Two dark green corrosive venom torrents shot out. Like a laser, once contaminated, it can definitely corrode the entire body of a person. Moreover, this kind of snake venom is definitely not an ordinary neurotoxin or blood circulation toxin, nor is it a pure cytotoxin. These three types of toxins are the main toxin types of all snakes. At this moment, Ming used the eye of insight to scan the information of this venom. He knew that this was a mixed toxin that mixed three types of venom. It has all the characteristics of the three types of toxins. It can poison cells and muscle tissues, and can corrode blood. Just a drop on the skin will immediately circulate throughout the body through the blood. In an instant, you will die from the inside out. This attack must be avoided. His mind moved slightly, and a blue spiritual blade long sword condensed and emerged again. The sword stopped in front of Ming, with the middle as the origin, and rotated rapidly. Swish swish swish. Gradually, the sword turned into an umbrella like the blades of a helicopter, resisting the two venoms and slashing all the poisonous water to both sides. But this venom is too corrosive. Ming's spiritual blade soon disappeared, corroded by the venom. Ming could only use the Longguo microstep to avoid it. While running away and defending, he did not forget to use the black sword to chop the giant snake's belly. The giant snake howled in anger and pain, and spit out venom with all its strength. Ming's eyes became more cautious. The blood volume of this giant snake was dropping very quickly, but not fast enough. He could even feel that his black sword was gradually being corroded by this giant snake. The black sword was a top-grade gold weapon, and it was indeed very strong. It was made of an alloy of multiple materials. However, this did not mean that it could be soaked in the giant snake's venom for a long time. It could only support a few minutes at most, which should be the limit. Once the black sword in the giant snake's belly was corroded and digested, it would fall into a passive position. The giant snake must be completely killed during this period. Ming's eyes were cold, and he used his sword with all his strength. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The black sword moved frantically inside the giant snake. The sharp blade, like a scavenger, cut open the flesh and swam inside. The sword moved in all directions, and even wounds began to appear on the skin of the giant snake, and blood spurted out. No, this snake is too big. Ming thought to himself. My black sword is like a toothpick to it. It has been swimming inside its body for so long, but it has not been able to find the location of the harm. Looking for the heart in such a huge snake is like looking for a needle in a haystack. As the saying goes, the heart of a snake is 7 inches, but the heart of this giant snake is not 7 inches, let alone in the chest. I am afraid that after the mutation, the position of the heart has also shifted. If we go this way, we will not be able to kill it at all. Su Ming also thought about urging the black sword to pierce the head and crush the brain of the giant snake, but it didn't work at all, because the giant snake had a skull that completely covered its brain. The skull was extremely tough, and the black-edged sword couldn't penetrate it at all. Su Ming raised his hand and swung it. The only organ that can penetrate the skull directly is the eye. Then I'll attack your eyes. Su Ming said coldly, whoosh. A broken blade flew out from the sword box behind him, the tip of the dragon-inlaid broken sword flew out. Whoosh! This long blade, without a hilt, was extremely sharp. Following Su Ming's thoughts, it pierced the giant snake's eyes. The giant snake suddenly closed its eyes at this moment. There was a scale on its eyelids, hard and skinless. Unfortunately, facing the diamond-grade dragon-inlaid broken sword, how could a pair of thin eyelids resist? The dragon-inlaid broken blade was extremely accurate and directly penetrated the eyelids. The steel-like snake scales that were cut in half, blood was dripping. The sword blade pierced the giant snake's eyes with a burst of sparks. Moreover, this sword was a critical hit, and the damage was super terrifying, directly let the giant snake lose 20% of its health. There was also a 200% fire attribute damage bonus. The giant snake's single eye immediately ignited a raging fire, burning half of its face black and festering. The giant snake was in extreme pain, and even the venom could not be sprayed out. Then, Su Ming controlled the dragon-studded sword blade and rushed straight into the giant snake's brain through the eyes. Su Ming used this dragon-studded broken blade to directly smash its brain and killed it with one blow. At this moment, the giant snake was stirring all over, and suddenly its skin became crystal clear, as if it was covered with a layer of crystal shell armor. The whole body became soft. Su Ming's eyes were stern. Is this, molting? This giant snake has a skill, which is molting. Once the molting is successful, it can not only recover a lot, but also improve its strength to a higher level. At that time, it is possible to reach level 27 or 28, but during the molting process, it is extremely vulnerable. Shedding in battle is simply a fantasy. Do you think you are a snake from the Shao family? The giant snake would choose to shed its skin at this time, which means it is really desperate and has only this one way. How could Su Ming let it fight back? He put his 2 fingers together and pointed at a distance. Ding! The dragon-inlaid sword blade made a ding sound. It directly smashed the brain of the giant snake into a ball of mud. Then it broke out of the body from the center of the eyebrows. It brought a line of blood. The giant snake fell down with a bang. Its blood volume dropped to 1%. Su Ming's eyes were cold. Brain death does not mean physical death. The body muscles of this giant snake are still moving like a conditioned reflex. Whoosh! The huge snake tail suddenly turned towards Su Ming. Su Ming took a breath of cold air. The giant snake's head was rotten, but its body muscles were still alive. Before the giant snake died, its brain received the last instruction, which was to strangle Su Ming. So its body swept towards Su Ming. Once tied up, the giant snake would activate its most lethal skill, Hell Strangulation. At that time, Su Ming would definitely not be able to withstand it. Chapter 51 The Fourth Killer. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Facing the giant snake's last-ditch attack, Su Ming was indeed a little surprised. After all, there are very few creatures that can still carry out such large-scale muscle activities after brain death. This giant snake is indeed the strongest beast in this forest. Whether it is the will to fight or the muscle strength of the body, it is fierce. Its nerves and muscle tissues are still attacking according to the final instructions from its brain. But Su Ming also felt a little regretful, because he is too flexible. The giant snake's attack is impossible to hit him. Hell Strangulation is meaningless. Su Ming sighed. He took a step forward. He easily avoided the Hell Strangulation, but the next moment, whoosh! The tip of the tail actually pointed at Su Ming and spit out a puff of venom. Su Ming's eyes were slightly shocked. The tail of this giant snake can actually spray poison. It's really too dark. Mutated species. It is indeed a mutant species. The means are strange, but deadly. Su Ming's mental power has been almost exhausted. He urged 4 swords to fight at the same time, and even the third turn could not withstand such consumption. if Su Ming used the hidden god step, his mental power would have been exhausted long ago. Now he is very tired both mentally and physically. Su Ming estimated that he could use 2 or 3 skills at the end. Fortunately, the giant snake didn't have much blood. Su Ming raised his hand directly, holding the shadow flow long sword, and urged it in the opposite direction to draw the sword and cut it in an instant. In mid-air, he slashed towards the giant snake's tail, avoid the venom. This sword also successfully cut off the giant snake's tail. Su Ming raised his hand and clenched it. He pulled the Shenfeng sword out of the giant snake's belly through the air. Swish! The black sword blade burst out of the snake's belly, carrying the dripping snake blood and corrosive liquid, and flew to Su Ming's side. The giant snake's health value was directly reduced to 0. The kill was successful. Congratulations, you killed the level 26 giant snake. Obtain trophies: Giant Snake Fangs X2, Giant Snake Scale Armor Skin X1000, Second Level Snake Gallbladder X1, Giant Snake Venom Testicle X1, Second Level Task Completed, Promoted to Second Level Sword God. All attributes plus 10, Obtained Experience Value, 15,020, Promoted to Level 21. Free Attribute Points plus 10, Talent, Increased Effect of the Original Sword Body, Myth, Swordsmanship Power Increased, 20 times, Swordsmanship Speed Increased, 20 times, Swordsmanship Proficiency Increased, 20 times, Obtained Reward, 1 Lottery Roulette. Promoted to the Second Level Sword God. Su Ming felt that his physical strength had recovered, but he didn't have time to celebrate the joy of victory. He suddenly felt a sharp pain. Su Ming looked carefully. He saw a drop of snake blood on his arm. He didn't know when it splashed. This snake blood gave Su Ming an extremely hot texture. He was on guard, but he couldn't defend against it. This snake's blood was even poisonous. Su Ming had tried his best to avoid being contaminated by venom and blood, but the giant snake was too big, and there was too much blood splashed, so it was difficult to avoid it all. He was extremely decisive and slashed with a sword, cutting off that piece of skin. He directly dug out part of the skin and flesh, deep into the bone. The severe pain was still piercing, and the toxin seemed to have invaded the blood. This toxin is a mixed toxin, which has the effect of corroding nerves. Su Ming could feel that his mental power was rapidly decreasing and was about to reach the bottom. His muscles also began to numb. Su Ming's eyes looked ugly. At this moment, he suddenly discovered that the corpse of the giant snake was slowly wriggling. The crystal-like skin all over the body seemed to be undergoing a transformation. Can death also shed its skin? Su Ming really didn't expect it. In the face of death, all living things will burst out with unlimited potential. At this moment, he somewhat admired the will to survive of this giant snake. If the molting is successful, maybe this giant snake can be resurrected? It must be stopped. Su Ming raised his hand and swung it, mobilizing the dragon-studded sword blade in the air back and vertically down. The sharp and cold sword tip stabbed downwards. It fell straight towards the head of the giant snake. This was the last sword before he ran out of mental power. This giant snake must be killed completely. Chi. Suddenly, a ghostly figure appeared behind Su Ming. At the same time, there was a murderous intention. Su Ming's eyes were stern. He turned around and looked. He found a person behind him. This was a thin man in black robes with a sneer on his face. There was a long scar on his face, which looked extremely ugly. In his hand, he held a short knife and stabbed towards Su Ming's neck. There was actually a killer. Has he been hiding around? Su Ming's eyes were slightly shocked. At this critical moment, his physical strength was not enough. There were only 2 choices in front of him: use the dragon-inlaid broken sword to kill the giant snake, or resist the fatal blow of the man behind him. The snake venom almost paralyzed his whole body. Su Ming could not do 2 things at the same time and could only choose one. In the end, he gritted his teeth and chose to resist this man's move. This was the only choice. Otherwise, if you die, you will have nothing. He directly waved the broken sword in his right hand, activated the thunder sword, and blocked the sword. Boom. Thunder flashes. This sword chopped the man's sword into pieces. The broken sword inlaid with dragon is too sharp. The man looked a little surprised. After fighting such a terrifying beast, do you still have the strength to crush my sword? Huh, it seems like I've gotten into trouble. He took a sudden breath and seemed very unhappy, but have no fear at all. It can be seen that this person is very powerful, at the very least, he is much stronger than the previous second-level killers from the Zhang family. At this moment, behind Su Ming, the giant snake's body also made squirming sounds. It seems that the molting is about to be completed. The dragon-inlaid sword blade in mid-air began to fall powerlessly without the power of Su Ming's thoughts. Free fall. This sword relies purely on inertia and has limited power. According to this development, this sword will definitely not be able to kill the body of the big snake that sheds its skin. When the time comes, it may be resurrected. But now, Su Ming faced the fierce enemy in front of him and had no time to be distracted. His mental power can only activate one skill in the end. Paralyzed by snake venom, even though he had just been promoted to the second level, he did not regain much strength. Su Ming was in a very passive situation. Once the big snake is resurrected, he will be attacked from both sides. And if the snake is killed, who will deal with the killer in front of him? In this difficult moment, a petite figure rushed out from the surrounding dense forest. She took one step forward, her steps were light, and she jumped high. Her delicate hands tightly grasped the dragon-inlaid sword blade in mid-air. Her hands were suddenly dripping with blood. She looked pained, but she didn't let go at all. Falling suddenly, she inserted the sword blade firmly into the head of the giant snake. The entire sword blade was completely missing. The giant snake's molting corpse was immediately and completely killed. All muscle and nerve activity are completely annihilated. Unable to shed skin, the dead can no longer die. Chapter 52 The God of Death's Sword Reappears. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The one who came was Leah. Her hands were almost cut through by the dragon-embedded sword blade, and there were cracks on the bones. After all, there was no hilt. She could only hold the sword blade, but she knew that this was the only chance. The snake must be killed completely, otherwise, Su Ming will be in great trouble. If he does not do this, he will not be able to take revenge. She had long wanted to kill the giant snake that had destroyed her entire village. So she chose to rush out. She did not want to passively escape like she did when the village was slaughtered by the giant snake. From now on, she will not hide anymore. The giant snake died and turned to ashes. Su Ming was relieved. Then he did not have to make a choice. He could barely use the last skill, which was just enough to kill one person. Su Ming turned around suddenly and used the Eye of Insight to scan the information of the black-robed man who suddenly appeared. Ding Pan. Level 27. Occupation. Disguiser. Strength. 30. Constitution. 50. Agility. 80. Spirit. 5. Luck. 5. Skills. Ghostly Hide. Breath Concealment. Critical Hit. A level 27 disguiser. One skill is enough. A chilling smile appeared on the corner of Su Ming's mouth. A murderous intent emerged in his eyes. Only one person in this world has ever seen such murderous intent, Ren Xiaoman. This man is the second one. You only have one move. Looking at the man in front of him, Su Ming suddenly said. Hearing this, the man pulled out the real knife from his waist. This is his real weapon. Hee. Boy, are you begging for mercy? Unfortunately, the reward for your D-level mission is too generous. You must get it. He laughed sarcastically, not realizing the seriousness of the matter. But I can still kill you. Su Ming's eyes were filled with murderous intent. At this moment, the man felt that his courage was about to be shattered. His smile froze instantly. The next moment, he saw the most terrifying knife. In the distance, Leah was shocked. Su Ming held the dragon-inlaid broken sword. He rushed out suddenly. His body turned into a dazzling killing mark. On the ground, leaving behind the afterimage of the grey robe, a long blood-red mark crossed the air. Within a few meters around, dead branches and fallen leaves were all broken. Leah saw this knife up close, and she felt her soul was shocked. She had never seen such a terrifying skill. Even the giant snake did not give her such a strong sense of oppression. Although this knife was not used directly on her, she was just watching, but she could still feel the strong killing intent, deep, full of penetrating power. She was so scared that she trembled all over and almost sat on it. Too scary. This knife mark directly penetrated the man's body. His eyes suddenly froze. The smile on his face disappeared in an instant. Although the god-killing knife is not a sword technique, it is a skill of the god-killing, but the weapon is the dragon-inlaid broken sword. More or less, it can get a little power bonus from the origin sword body. The god-killing knife is originally a legendary skill. Even if it is only enhanced by 10%, it is still infinitely powerful, not to mention the bonus of the origin sword body. Su Ming estimated that this god-killing knife at least got 5 times the power and speed bonus of the origin sword body. At Su Ming's current level, the power of the God of Death sword he used was far from the full version. It was even less than 1/100th of the full version, but after the bonus of the original sword body, it was already able to have several of the essence of the past. This sword can even kill 3-timers. The black-robed man in front of him felt a burning fear in his soul, as if his name was written in the book of life and death of the King of Hell. As the saying goes, if the King of Hell wants you to die at 3 o'clock, who dares to keep you until 5 o'clock? He finally felt terrified, as if he was stared at by the God of Death. At this moment, he felt his legs trembling. No. No, I have to escape. His expression of ease finally disappeared. He was very experienced and had killed many people. His combat experience far exceeded that of most job changers, but facing Su Ming's sword, he was truly terrified. No one had ever made him so scared from the inside. There had never been an opponent, a boss, or a beast, no. This was the first time. He didn't even have the will to fight, he just wanted to run away, but the process was too fast. The moment the idea came to his mind, Su Ming's sword had already pierced his body. The scarlet sword mark lingered in the air and remained for a long time. He was stunned and touched his neck, no wound. He touched his heart, no wound. He was sweating profusely, as if he had survived a disaster. Not dead. That he touched his whole body and found no wounds. He showed a forced smile, with his yellow teeth exposed. It should be just a bluffing skill, not dead. That behind him, Su Ming had a blank expression. He raised his hand and gently grasped it. The Xianfeng sword flew over and returned to its sheath. The shadow stream sword merged into the shadow. He put away all the swords, because the battle is over. Ding! The last dragon-inlaid broken sword was sheathed. Behind him, the black-robed man's body suddenly trembled. The blood spurts out and rushes up. Because this sword is too sharp, the killing sword is too fast, so the wound actually lags behind in being revealed. In fact, Ding Pan's health value has long since returned to 0. Half of his body was cut off directly. The body fell to the ground, all 5 internal organs were cut off, and the section was as smooth as a mirror. The man in black robe died. Before his death, he still maintained the joy of surviving the disaster. He didn't even know he was dead. Just one sword. With one move, the remaining blood crosses the border and kills the full blood. When Leah saw this scene, her eyes were filled with disbelief. Brother Su Ming killed 3 people by himself, and then killed the giant snake. Now, kill someone. Can he still stand firm in this will-and-will battle? Too strong. There was a bit of fear and admiration in her heart. Su Ming took a deep breath and felt his hands trembling. Under the paralysis of snake venom, it is really too difficult. A stream of nosebleed flowed out. This is the result of forcibly using skills after exhaustion of stamina. Kill level 27 players. Kill the enemy beyond the level and gain 16,092 experience points. Loots obtained, 10,000 clans coins plus 100,000, advent coins plus 500,000, black crystal dagger, gold top. Grade, agility cloak, gold grade, sensitivity ring, silver top grade, tower club token, pretender skill scroll, top grade gold. All of this man's equipment belongs to Su Ming. Su Ming immediately spent some money at the Advent store, spending 50,000 Advent coins to buy a bottle of snake venom removing potion. The medicine bottle was in his hand, but before Su Ming could drink it, his vision went dark and he fainted. The body reaches its limit. When Su Ming woke up again, he found that he was pillowing on something soft and cold. He opened his eyes and found a pair of smart cat ears in front of him. A pair of big, watery eyes were looking down at him. Seeing Su Ming wake up, her little ears twitched obviously. Leah panicked. Brother Ming, you finally woke up. I don't know what to do, so I'll give you the bottle of potion in your hand. Because you gave me a bottle of healing potion, which can heal the wound. I think your bottle of potion is almost as effective, so. Su Ming slowly sat up. After taking a closer look, it turned out that he was lying on this girl's lap just now. So many. Thanks, Leah. Su Ming said, patting her head. Her ears were trembling, and she seemed to like this kind of touch very much. Su Ming smiled slightly, feeling that this little girl was quite cute. How about, accept him as a disciple? Chapter 53 Another Roulette Draw. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 53 A Roulette Draw. How about, accept him as a disciple? She has a good talent and happens to be an assassin. If she teaches well, maybe she can become the god of killing in this life. The god of killing is a legendary profession, only one level lower than the god of sword. It is necessary to reach the 8th rank to be promoted to the god of killing. There can only be one such unique profession in the world, that is to say, if his apprentice kills the god of death. There will no longer be a god of killing in the world. This is equivalent to being able to limit one of the strongest professional combat forces in the world to his own command in case of rainy day. Su Ming has not thought about forming a force for the time being, but what if, comes in need? Su Ming fell into thinking, if Leah didn't pour herself the bottle of antidote, she might really sleep forever. She is a good child, regardless of talent or temperament, it's all worth it. But Su Ming thought for a long time. In the end, I gave up. Su Ming thought that he didn't have much time to teach. He doesn't even have time to level up himself. So it still counts. How long will I be unconscious? Su Ming asked instead. A few hours. She pinched her fingers and calculated. At this time, Su Ming noticed that there was still a lot of blood on her fingers. It wound as deep as the bone. Unexpectedly, she is still suffering from pain all the time. It was cut with a dragon-inlaid sword blade. You were very brave. Su Ming praised. Help me. He said with a serious look. She nodded, her eyes suddenly firm. When a person becomes truly brave, that's when she grows up. This is what the village chief said when I was a child. I know, it's time for me to grow up. Her eyes were shining with desire for strength. She killed the giant snake's molting corpse. Although she didn't get any reward or experience, she was brave once. This is the most precious trophy to her. If there is a first time, there will be a third time. Su Ming bought 2 bottles of healing potion and poured it on her face. Soon, the wound began to heal. Then Su Ming began to sort out his trophies. Su Ming put all that man's equipment on the auction house. After all, it is a knife, and I am not used to it. All the items put together could probably be sold for hundreds of thousands of advent coins. How come this person has so many good things? Rich, too rich. It's really weird. Su Ming's eyes were solemn. What surprised Su Ming the most was that this man in black robe actually had 100,000 coins of all races. This number is more than myself. Wanzu coin is the only currency that can be used to purchase things in the Wanjie store. The priority is higher than the advent coins within the human race. Moreover, it is the only currency that is common to all races, that is to say, half-orcs, orcs, elves and other races. They use S-coins of all races as currency. This person actually has 100,000 people. It's really scary. How can a person at level 10 have so much property? Su Ming was a little strange. Afterwards, Su Ming knocked on this man's Tianta meeting token. The virtual screen list is displayed. It didn't matter if Su Ming didn't look at it. He was shocked when he saw it. This man's Tiantui token has dozens of completed historical missions. The list is dense. Basically, they are all low-level tasks of F, E, and D levels. A person with more than 10 levels can complete dozens of tasks. This is simply unbelievable. Later, Su Ming found a note among his personal belongings. This man still has the habit of writing a diary. Su Ming immediately judged that this person was not a serious person. No serious person can keep a diary. After opening the diary, Su Ming understood. It turns out that this is not a diary, it's a criminal record book. Every page clearly records his target audience. January of a certain year, the target is a 19-year-old student, a professional épée fighter. The mission he accepted from the Tower Society is to kill a poisoned newborn-level vampire. The barren mountains and ridges are extremely suitable for killing. Postscript. December of a certain year, the target is a 21-year-old job changer. His mission is to kill a mutant giant mosquito in the barren mountains. The mission reward is 40 million clan coins. Postscript. This June, the target is an 18-year-old student, Su Ming. The key observation object is a 10-star talented swordsman. He is a lone wolf and takes on a D-level mission. The location happens to be in a barren mountain, which is very suitable for him. Su Ming's eyes were solemn. It turns out that this man in black robe, Pan, is a criminal who kills people everywhere. He observed those low-level Tienta members and followed them all the way to complete their mission. Then at the last moment of their battle with the monsters, he came and killed both the humans and the monsters. See supplies and complete tasks at the same time, typical behavior of taking advantage of others, in a way. This guy is a criminal genius, with this kind of thinking. No wonder he has so many supplies and property. Su Ming thought that he was the first killer sent by Zhang Tang. Now it seems that it is not. This guy has nothing to do with the Zhang family. He is just a murderer who kills people everywhere and intercepts the task reward. I am just unlucky and was targeted by him. He killed so many people, the Tienta Association and the country must have noticed him. This guy may have been wanted. Su Ming carefully put away his token. If this person is really a wanted criminal, then with his token, he can receive the reward. The reward for killing this person may be more generous than the task reward for killing the snake. It is an extra gain. Su Ming also put on this person's equipment, the sharp ring. It can enhance a person's 5 senses and enhance the perception of battle. People have 10 fingers, so theoretically, they can wear 10 rings at the same time, but in that case, it will greatly affect the sense of holding the sword, so Su Ming will not wear too many. He took off the ring that increased his strength by 5 points and put it up in the auction house. This attribute was better than nothing for him, and this ring could be sold for some money. Then, Su Ming opened the lottery wheel. Now his sword body was 20 times more powerful. His strength had changed qualitatively. If he drew another prize, his strength would reach a new level again. Drawing, the golden pointer kept spinning. Finally, it stopped at an epic column. 1000-year purple vein Ganoderma, epic top grade. After eating, the whole body attributes will be increased randomly. Su Ming's eyes were horrified. 1000-year purple vein Ganoderma. It can increase the whole body attributes, and the value will not be small. The increased attributes will be permanent. It can be said to be the top version of the strong marrow pill. The strong marrow pill can enhance the attributes, but it is only a gold quality pill. Why? The effect is too weak for one thing. The most important thing is that it can only take effect once. The 1000-year-old purple vein Ganoderma lucidum is different. It can be used an unlimited number of times. Moreover, the effect is countless times stronger than the strong marrow pill. That is to say, if you have enough resources and connections, you can get multiple 1000-year-old purple vein Ganoderma lucidum, and then use the 1000-year-old purple vein Ganoderma lucidum to infinitely enhance its properties. Of course, such a spiritual treasure is a priceless treasure. There are not many in the entire blue star. Even if you are rich, you can't get it. This kind of thing can only be dreamed of. Su Ming is already very satisfied to have one plant. He swallowed it directly. Chapter 54 Epic, Ancient Snake Spreads Poisonous Gallbladder. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Suddenly, a stream of hot energy flowed through Su Ming's body. He could feel that his limbs and bones were burning like fire. After a while, the energy was completely absorbed. Successfully absorbed the 50-year-old purple vein Ganoderma lucidum. The 5 major attributes of energy, physique, agility, spirit, and luck were comprehensively improved. Su Ming immediately opened his personal profile. Su Ming. Title, God of Killing, effective title, First Blood, Newcomer King. Level 21, 19455 / 21,000 experience. Profession, Sword God, mythical, the only one in the world. Strength, 80. Constitution, 80. Agility, 240. Spirit, 150. Luck, 90. Bloodline, old body, a self-healing factor, C. Talent, essence of all things, origin sword body, automatic cultivation. Skills, God of Killing, full hide, hidden God step, insightful. Eyes. Thunder sword, sword draw, sword master, continuous rain sword, sword control, skyfall sword tomb, spiritual blade, light footsteps, all attributes have been greatly improved. Su Ming can even clearly feel that his strength has increased significantly, his agility attribute is far beyond that of ordinary people. And the physical attributes are even weaker than those of warriors of the same level. This is very terrifying, it is equivalent to an all-rounder. The host has been promoted to the first level, and the talent of the transformation of all things has unlocked hidden functions. Any spoils of war that explode can be transformed or indirect once. Su Ming's eyes condensed slightly. Originally, only spoils of war that exploded in the dungeon could be transformed, but now, it's different. As long as the spoils of war that exploded can be upgraded, this talent was originally given by the system. I didn't expect that there would be hidden benefits when I was promoted to a higher level. Then when I was promoted to the 3rd, 4th, and 5th levels, what level would I be promoted to? Su Ming was full of expectations. At this time, another voice sounded in his mind. Proficiency capped, spiritual blade skill level 1, spiritual sword, gold lower grade, proficiency, 3000 //10,000. The power has been improved again. With the automatic cultivation talent, Su Ming's skills can be improved all the time. He just needs to lie down and wait for the harvest. Then, Su Ming counted all the things. Let's make all the spoils of war. He said in his heart. After the luck attribute was improved, the effect of the all things make bloom talent was also slightly improved. The probability of items being upgraded to a higher quality is obviously higher. Giant snake fang make bloom. Corruption source, platinum upper grade. A material that can continuously produce venom, as if it is still alive. It can be embedded in equipment to permanently add poison attribute enchantment to the equipment, and can also be used as a material to make weapons. Giant snake scale armor skin was successfully refined. Pattern dragon skin, low-grade diamond. High-grade forging base material, can be cast into an extraordinary soft armor suit, can easily resist most knife cuts, and can even heal itself. Su Ming decided to keep both of these things. Maybe he can use them to make equipment in the future. After all, the quality is low. Then, he began to refine the snake gall. Successful refinement of snake gall. Ancient snake scat gall, low-grade epic. Top-grade detoxification material. Only 1 drop of juice can remove most toxins in the body. If swallowed whole, it can instantly remove all poisons in the world. Su Ming's eyes were shocked. Among all the items, the refinement of the ancient snake scat gall was the most surprising to him. It was actually raised to the epic level. This is the first epic item he has obtained. 1 drop of juice can detoxify, which means it can be reused. If you swallow the whole thing, it can 100% remove all poisons in the world. An absolute life-saving artifact. Su Ming held the dark snake gall in his palm, and there was some excitement in his heart. He raised it directly to the edge of his mouth and squeezed out a drop. The dark green bile was as crystal clear as jade, and it fell into the throat, smooth and cold, and bitter. It was extremely bitter. I am ashamed of the bile. Even Su Ming, who was very patient, almost vomited it out, but after enduring it, there was a sense of calm and comfort. All the heat and toxicity in the body were cleared away. When you are calm, you will naturally cool down, and Su Ming's eyes will become more peaceful. The antidote he bought in a hurry was not of high quality, so there might be some toxicity left in his body. After swallowing the bile, he was completely free of worries. Su Ming must keep this snake gall for his own use. He will put it up for auction. This thing can save lives in critical moments. Continue to refine other spoils. Su Ming, who can refine all the items that the black-robed man wants, has basically refined them once. It is worth mentioning that there is a skill scroll, pretender skill scroll, gold upper grade, refined successfully. Blood rush stab, pretender skill scroll, platinum lower grade. Required level, 20. Stab type knife skills, using a dagger can increase the critical hit rate. After hitting the enemy will bleed continuously, and it is difficult to stop the wound. The damage is extremely high. Su Ming is not a pretender, so he has never used this skill scroll. He put it in his pocket. If he needs it, he will keep it for himself. If he needs it, he will put it up for auction. The black-robed man Pan has a lot of property. It is roughly estimated that once all are sold, Su Ming will be able to get about 1 million advent coins. 1 million advent coins, converted into Wanzu coins, are also 100,000. This is a very expensive number. It is enough for any dragon countryman to live a life of luxury and comfort for the rest of his life. Su Ming's face was solemn and he opened the Wanzu store, adding Pan's money. He now has 170,000 Wanzu coins in his account, among his peers. He is already very rich. Su Ming wanted to exchange something, but after browsing for a while, he finally closed the store panel, because he was too wild. He already wanted some low-level bloodlines and talents. Ordinary things were hard to catch his eye. He wanted to exchange at least B-level, and the minimum B-level items were 500,000 Wanzu coins. He had to save for a while before he could afford it. At this time, Su Ming stood up and glanced at the little girl. "Leah, I'm leaving." Hearing this, Leah's eyes, which were originally bright, were obviously dim and lost. The cat ears trembled slightly. Well. Okay. She also knew that she would have to do something else. After all, they were of the same race. She didn't force him to stay. "By the way, brother Su Ming, I have one more question before I leave." Leah walked in front of Su Ming and asked with a lively look, window_tabula equals window_tabula_tabula.push, mode, thumbs, feed, 01, container, tabula, below, article, thumbnail, 300x250, placement, below article thumbnail, 300 by 250, target_type, mix. Chapter 55 Gift of Knife. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 55 Gift. You say. Su Ming was carrying a long sword and was wearing a thin grey robe. I am very patient with this girl. Brother Ming, why are you so strong? Leah asked straightforwardly. When Su Ming heard this, he just smiled slightly. I am the god of killing in my previous life, and I am the god of swords in this life. It can be regarded as a half-double priest. Do I want to tell you this secret too? Possible, even to Ji Yao. Su Ming would not reveal it. Persist in. Su Ming thought for a moment, just 2 words, bland. In fact, I don't know how to believe this answer. Persist in? Persistence can change very few things. Talent is enough to crush everything. A 1-star talent is useless. No matter how hard he works, he can't compete with a star talent. Orphans without family power can compete with those young masters from families. This is how this world is structured, but, still have to persist, even if hope is within reach, even if the probability is slim, still have to persist, because as long as you persist, you can hope, but if you persist, there will be no possibility. This is possible and possible are 2 extremes. In his previous life, even though Su Ming was forced to die, he still insisted on surrendering the divine ring of rebellion and chose to die with them. So was reborn. This is to insist on giving in return. Su Ming chose to share this experience with her. Maybe it's just a small word, but it can't bring her anything immediate. But when she heard these 2 words, she nodded seriously. It seems that I have kept these 2 words in my mind for a long time. If you were the type, you would definitely think that Su Ming was just trying to cover up the past, and Su Ming did think so, but for a natural and pure half-animal, there are not so many twists and turns in the mind. Leah naturally regarded these 2 words as Su Ming's real answer. And this is exactly her advantage. Leah felt a little profound. Her eyes were serious, but she still seemed to understand. She knew that it might take her many years to understand what true persistence meant. Once her village was massacred and she was left homeless and confused every day, but she found that she had already figured out the way forward and was no longer confused. I know, I will work hard toward what you said. Her cat ears twitched slightly, and she seemed to be full of energy and stood up. Finally, I have one thing. Then she bowed sharply. Brother Su Ming, accept me as your disciple. I want to become as strong as you and learn your skills. Especially the sword you used to kill the black-robed was really, so handsome. As she spoke, she seemed to be drooling. It's like that is some kind of move, but some kind of delicacy. When Su Ming heard this, he smiled calmly. Accept you as my disciple? Sure. But I have to remind you, kind is very evil. We eat all kinds of creatures. Su Ming's smile became more and more sinister, like the devil Satan. getting closer and closer, the sense of oppression is getting stronger and stronger. Looking at Leah, a chill ran down her spine. Ming, brother Ming, don't scare me. That she was a little scared. Su Ming was very serious. I'm not kidding. The kind is very scary. We will eat half animals. Half animals like you are the favorite among our species. The names of the dishes I can say are braised duck neck, crispy cat ears, roasted hawk legs, tiger skin, 5-spice chicken feet. Listening to the names of these dishes, the bloody production process came to Leah's mind. She was so scared that her eyes were red. It's absolutely terrifying. The giant snake killed half animals and villagers, but they were all eaten alive, so how could they be made into vegetables? It was simply too scary. Then I'm going to become a disciple. It's too scary. I'm going to the human world. The forest is more suitable for me. Her words were filled with tears. Su Ming's smile faded, but he was still very happy. It's so fun to tease this little girl. Yes, said that is indeed a mixture of truth and falsehood. In the human world, the half-animal is a popular creature. If he takes her back, she will definitely receive a lot of looks from everyone. It will cause a lot of trouble, and in the category, it is true that likes to eat half-animals and is a pervert, although it is very rare. It is true, if you take her back, her worldview will definitely collapse and her pure spirit will be tarnished. Su Ming also wanted to cause so much trouble, so he used this method to scare her away, but Su Ming is not completely heartless. From this space, he took out the pretender's scroll. At the same time, there was also the man in black wearing a black crystal short hair. I can be your teacher for the time being. But I'll give this skill scroll and shortcut to you. Su Ming said and handed it over. Leah killed the giant snake's shed body, indirectly saving her own life. There is no way can be expressed without, can fool him just because the family is simple. Moreover, this can also be regarded as an investment. The principal of number 1 middle school once gave me a marrow strengthening pill and a pair of black snakeskin clothes. This is the principal's investment in me. Now that I have no resources, how can I invest? Su Ming has also become an investment now. Leah is a good seedling. I will sow the fruit today. If she can become a high-level killer in the future, she can become a strong fighting force in my life. That is my fate. It can be said to be a gamble. The black crystal dagger was originally a top-grade gold. Now, it has been upgraded to a mid-grade platinum by Su Ming. The new name is the Stone Silence Dagger. Moreover, there is no level limit. Leah took it and scanned it. Platinum. Platinum level. Her eyes lit up and she was very excited. Su Ming nodded. Yes, this sword is very sharp. You have to use it with caution. And this scroll needs to reach level 20, and the pretender can practice it. If you can reach the second level, you can change your job to a pretender. If you can learn this skill, it means you have truly learned to persevere. Then maybe we can meet again. Su Ming said, pausing. I am not sure whether we can meet again, but Leah completely trusts Su Ming's words. She tightly grasped the scroll and the black dagger, her eyes full of confidence. Well, okay. I will definitely persevere and make you look at me with new eyes, brother Ming. I want to become stronger and become your apprentice. She was very excited, looking up at the sky. The rain has dissipated, the sun is shining, and it is warm and pleasant. Looking again, she looked in front of her. The thin young man in grey robe disappeared at some unknown time. She was left alone in the forest. She stood there with a lost look in her eyes. She put away the scroll and drew out the dagger. Now, what are you doing? She felt a little lonely and desolate. Half-beasts have the same intelligence as humans, so they also feel bored and lonely, but she is an optimist and soon cheered up. Moreover, she was very familiar with life in the forest. This is the best place for her to grow up. Let's kill wild beasts to level up, she decided. Then, she started her leveling journey. With the Shurji dagger, killing wild beasts was indeed twice the result with half the effort. Unexpectedly, she actually stayed in a forest and persisted in leveling up for a year. She walked through almost all the surrounding forests, so much so that all the wild beasts around were scared to death when they saw her. The new Beast King will be born here. Su Ming teleported back to the Tienta Club. When he came to the mission hall, he found that there was nothing here. After all, the new peak has passed, and the normal flow has been restored. Just right, it's time to hand in the mission. Su Ming said coldly. Window, _tabula equals window, _tabula dot push, mode, thumbs, feed, 01, container, tabula, below, article, thumbnail, 300x250, placement, below article thumbnail, 300 by 250, target type, mix. Chapter 56, Wooden Ruler Baiyi. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It is a pity that the air is not as fresh as in the forest. Su Ming said secretly, then his mind moved slightly. After consuming some mental energy, he healed all the wounds on his body, the bloodline that activates the self-healing factor. When he was poisoned by snake venom, he shaved off a piece of flesh on his elbow, and now the flesh there healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. Soon, fully recovered, the power of blood will operate autonomously at all times. But if it is actively stimulated, healing will be faster. The gray robe of the Shadow Sword suit has strong defensive power. The only drawback is that he is not fully covered, so he is still injured, but a lot of the rest of the venom and blood were blocked by the Shadow Sword coat. That's why Su Ming's injury was so minor. Thanks to this platinum level equipment, if it is an ordinary suit, it will be easily corroded by snake venom. Then, he walked quickly to the mission hall. When he came to the window where he received the mission, Su Ming looked plain. I have business to do, he said. In the hall, there are still some players who have not dispersed. They are scattered sparsely. The people around him slowly looked sideways. That is Su Ming. Su Ming, the swordsman in Xianjing City, has a 10-star talent and is the latest trend. I heard that he accepted a D-level mission. Once he completes the mission, he will be a platinum-level hunter. Yes, it's absolutely true. I saw it with my own eyes. People from several teams were whispering, 10-star talent, regardless of professional strength, is an extremely rare talent. Therefore, Su Ming's name is known to almost everyone not only in Xianjing City, but also in Xinji and the entire Zhongchuan province. Everyone was a little surprised. A newcomer dares to take on D-level missions, and it seems that he doesn't have a team yet, so he is a lone wolf. It's really a bit crazy. This handsome guy seems to have overestimated his own strength. Although the 10-star talent is strong, it is still too difficult to deal with at least level 2 monsters in D-level tasks. In the group, a female player with a hot figure and wearing black velvet stockings said. She stood in the distance, looking at Su Ming with a playful look in her eyes. Her words attracted a burst of agreement. What Sister Mo said makes sense. I think so, indeed. They nodded and looked serious. He wants to reach the top in one step and become a platinum-level hunter. He is very ambitious. I have to admit that I admire him very much. A young man with cold eyes and a ruler in white clothes said. I hope that he will leave a mark in the history of the Dragon Kingdom. Speaking of this, there was a hint of hidden solemnity in his eyes. Maybe one day, he will have a battle with Su Ming. In fact, he doesn't want to fight among himself. He wants to kill the demons and monsters and let the Dragon Kingdom expand its territory. The ambition in his heart is to lead the entire clan to be strong, and he wants to protect all the weak. But he knew resources were limited. The clan is caught in the middle of the war between all clans. The current situation is not good, and the Dragon Kingdom does not have many resources. Among geniuses, if they want to become stronger, they need to constantly fight and seize resources. Maybe it's not a life and death battle, maybe it's a battle in a certain competition, but it will happen after all. He doesn't want to lose. Mo Mei looked at him and smiled slightly, the charm in her eyes not restrained at all. Shen Baiyi, you are joking. With your strength, sister can't even sustain a few moves. Su Ming was able to reach level 16 in the new assistant level. Although he has his own level, his strength is not weak. This achievement is unprecedented. But fast upgrade does not mean strong combat effectiveness. Career is the root of everything. Sword Master, in the early stage, the fighting ability of your exorcist is simply heaven and earth. She has a delicate fragrance about her body and is naturally charming. She is also a 7-star genius, and the family power behind her is also very powerful. But in her words, there was a hint of actively showing weakness to Shen Baiyi, but there was no rebuttal or surprise around him, because Shen Baiyi's talent is indeed very terrifying and has long been known to everyone. Even if Mo Mei didn't say anything, Everyone knew that she couldn't beat Shen Baiyi. He deserves it, 10-star exorcist. With this talent and profession, he can push all the way in the early stage. All the geniuses in Zhongchuan province pale in front of him, provincial champion level. When Shen Baiyi heard her words, his face was expressionless. He didn't even bother to reply. His eyes were as steely as he was thinking in his mind at this moment. Opportunity? How ridiculous. Mo Mei, a high-ranking family member, really likes to watch. She has never experienced hardship and has been arranged by her family throughout her life. How could she know how difficult it is for an ordinary person to stand out? That Su Ming, an orphan without a family, was able to reach level 16 in the new vice level. What kind of persistence and effort, how much suffering and how many obstacles does it take to achieve this result? There certainly are opportunities, but it doesn't all depend on chance. Although Shen Baiyi is the strongest here, he is also the one who least despises Su Ming. Shen Baiyi and Su Ming were so similar, so he felt a little sympathy for each other. It is this calmness and prudence, coupled with a clear understanding of the situation and talent, that created him, Shen Baiyi. He is extremely calm and sober. His insight into everything is far beyond his age. Mo Mei smiled and said slowly. Yu Jian Su Ming. Although he looks handsome, it will take time to test whether he is just a show-off. You don't have to be so anxious and treat him as an opponent. Shen Baiyi, you have many enemies now, so you should take care of your eyes first. If it doesn't work, come to my sister's family. I can also protect you for a while. She approached and said humorously to Shen Baiyi. Shen Baiyi killed many monsters in the new wing, and like this, he also provoked many children of the big families, because those children of the big families like to rob the supplies and spoils of ordinary new wing, and Shen Baiyi, with his righteousness, was stopped. So, now he is surrounded by enemies, and he has no backers. Now he is like walking on the edge of the abyss. And if he is not careful, the boat will capsize. However, facing the olive branch thrown by Mo Mei, the eldest sister of the Mo family, Shen Baiyi ignored her. He left alone with a cold face. He is also a lone wolf, real name, Shinishi, because he often wears a white dress. He is called Shen Baiyi. He has no family and came from the slums. He begged for the first half of his life and lived in a stinking ditch. When he was 10 years old, he watched his mother die of illness because he had no money. Now, he is brilliant and has a happy ending. He has experienced it, so he knows best how painful the lives of those at the bottom of society are. So after he awakened as a genius, his ideal was to help the weakest. TSK, you don't understand romance. Mo Mei looked at his back as he left and smiled faintly. That's all. I still have a handsome guy anyway. As she said that, she looked at Su Ming from a distance. Her eyes seemed to be appreciating prey. The people around her looked solemn, and they were also looking at Su Ming from a distance. I guess he must be here to cancel the mission. Let's see how things develop. If Su Ming's mission cancellation is rejected, maybe we can go up and make friends with him and form a team. Yes, it's easy to add icing on the cake, but it's hard to send charcoal in the snow. Maybe we can take this opportunity to have a top genius friend. Some new members of the Tienta Club whispered. Every year, only those who have outstanding new member performance are eligible to join the Tienta Club, so there are geniuses here, but there are also differences between geniuses. Su Ming, with a 10-star talent that stands out from the crowd, is obviously worth winning over. Although he accepted a D-level mission and was bound to fail, they did not mock him. After all, he was a 10-star swordsman, and ranked first among the new vice commanders. Number 144, after showing his strength, no one dared to look down on him, and Su Ming was very strong. The point that they were most afraid of was that it was said that Su Ming had reached level 16 among the new vice commanders. Chapter 57. Wrong, this is not my token. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It is said that Su Ming reached level 10 in the novice copy. That's right, it is level 10. This result is the best in the history of Dragon Country. In order to protect Su Ming, the top leaders of Xianjing City have tried their best to block the news. However, there are too many players in the copy, and everyone can see the ranking, so Su Ming's results cannot be completely concealed. Soon, it spread across the country like a flame. Among the young geniuses, basically everyone knows it. Since the arrival of the Awakening Day, no one has been able to reach such a high level in the novice copy. There have been many 10-star geniuses in history, and they can only reach about level 12 in the novice copy on average. There are many talented people this year, and one of the strongest monsters, Shen Baiyi, has only reached level 14, but Su Ming has reached level 16. Regardless of whether his profession is strong or weak, everyone has to be a little wary of him, but everyone still doesn't think that he can complete the D-level task. After all, the D-level task is really too difficult. A second-level monster, that is more than level 20, the attributes of monsters are originally higher than those of humans. The large gap in level and attributes cannot be made up by talent. I guess you are here to quit the task. Me too. They touched their chins and inferred. In fact, many people attributed the reason why Su Ming could reach level 16 to chance. The word chance is so wonderful. All the unexpected things in the world can be explained by chance. In the dungeon, sometimes extremely rare natural treasures will appear. Once you encounter them, you can quickly improve your strength. In the history of Longguo, there was a student who got a plant of Zantianko, an epic sword forging material, in the novice dungeon. After he sold it, he lay flat for half his life. 50 years ago, there was also a novice who ate a fruit in the novice dungeon and directly upgraded to level 3. With a 5-star talent, he upgraded to level 7 and ranked 8th in the dungeon. What's more, he got some kind of treasure in the novice dungeon and improved the star talent attribute. These are real, historical true events recorded, so Su Ming was able to reach level 16. Although he pioneered history, he did not feel that he was that strong. Maybe it was due to chance. If you want to say that luck is also a part of strength, that is another matter. In terms of actual combat power, people tend to regard Su Ming as a genius who is slightly stronger than ordinary geniuses. That is, he is in the upper middle class among geniuses. He may be at the same level as Mo Mei and Zhang Tang, or even stronger, but he is still a little behind Shen Baiyi. Even Shen Baiyi dare not say that he can kill a monster in a D-level mission alone. Su Ming. It is even more impossible. It is true that there are no useless professions, only useless job changers. Occasionally, there will be geniuses who can make a seemingly weak profession show strong combat power. They think that Su Ming is indeed such a person. Otherwise, it would be impossible to reach level 16 just by chance. But no matter how much you play your profession, you can't break through the shackles of level difference. In general, they are still pessimistic about this matter. The monsters in the D-level mission are not something that a novice can defeat alone. Su Ming has a very sharp hearing and hears all the words of the people around him, but he is very calm. After 2 lives, he will not be disturbed by such things. In his heart, he only has his own eyes. I want to handle business. He stared at the female salesperson in front of him quietly, his eyes calm. The female salesperson found that it was Su Ming, a very familiar face. Her face suddenly became a little cold. TSK, isn't that the 10-star swordsman from Shenzhen? Most likely he found the D-level mission too difficult and came to cancel the mission, right? Every year, there are such young people who are ambitious and accept high-level missions, but find that they can't complete them, and come to cancel the mission in despair, wanting to change to a lower-level mission. She has seen a lot of this. Unfortunately, this is not allowed by the rules. Once you accept the initial mission, it is impossible to change it. If you can't complete the initial membership mission, then you can never officially join the Tienta Club. It can be said that Su Ming dug a hole for himself. She can't help. At this moment, she is looking at Su Ming with a completely ridiculous mentality, but on the surface, she will not show it. This is work. Besides, even if Su Ming can't complete this mission for the time being, it will not hinder his rise in the future. He is a 10-star genius. The future is limitless. She was too cautious to provoke a future strongman. She just said with a cold face. Sorry, once you accept the task, you can't withdraw. Su Ming's face was calm and his voice was very restrained. Excuse me. Then, he raised his eyebrows. Who told you that I want to withdraw the task? The voice was cold, the voice was full of energy. It spread throughout the hall, although he didn't roar deliberately, but the voice that didn't change, it was thrown to the ground at this moment. Hearing this, the female salesperson's face was obviously stunned. Then, she was secretly surprised. How can this Su Ming be so confident? Could it be that he really has completed the D-level mission? For a moment, many thoughts flashed through her eyes. It should be impossible, that she still couldn't believe it, and murmured in her heart, even if Su Ming could complete it, he must have relied on the power behind him. Anyway, she believed that her judgment would not be wrong. However, no matter what channel Su Ming used to complete the task, it had nothing to do with her. She was only responsible for doing things according to the rules and regulations. Well, since you claim to have completed the Tianta mission, then you show the token and I will check it. If it is indeed recorded, I will give you a task reward. The female salesperson said with a serious face. Su Ming slowly took out a dim token. Looking at this token, she couldn't help but sneer on her face. No matter how professional she was, she couldn't hold it back. Dim Tianta token. There was no word on it, and no golden fluorescence. There were only two possibilities for this token. One was that the holder was dead, the second possibility was that the other party had not completed the initial task. Once the initial task was completed, the Tiantui token would light up immediately. So, Su Ming obviously had not completed the task. She was extremely unhappy, and even her professional smile was restrained. She thought Su Ming was playing a trick on her. Sorry, your token is still gray, and the task has not been completed. She didn't say much, and said it simply. She deliberately spoke loudly so that everyone around could hear it. All the other new job changers in the hall nodded secretly, without any surprise. Sure enough, I guessed that you didn't complete the task. You also said that you didn't come to cancel the task. You are really trying to save face and suffer. TSK. I am embarrassed for you. Let's see how it ends. Smiling faintly, he watched Su Ming and the salesperson communicating with interest from a distance. It's a sin to see someone who used to admire you embarrassed like this. A female player blushed slightly and felt sad. Su Ming is handsome and talented, so he naturally has many fans among the young people. Su Ming turned a deaf ear to everything. He stared at the salesperson and slammed the token heavily on the table. The sound was crisp. Miss, you seem to have misunderstood. This is not my token. Said calmly. The female salesperson thought he was being mysterious, but Su Ming's words stunned her. It's a bounty token. In the hall around, everyone who heard this was stern. Anyone who knows a little bit knows what a bounty token means. Bounty missions are extremely difficult to complete. They are basically some vicious murderous demons, and their realm is not low. Su Ming is always calm. He knows all the rules of the Tianta Club very well. He knows a very few rules. In addition to completing the initial mission, there is another situation that can activate the qualification of the Tianta Club, that is to complete the bounty mission. Moreover, there is no limit on the level. Ding Pan in black robe is a professional killer who intercepts people. He does have a bounty, and Su Ming has already checked it out. Moreover, he has a lot of blood debts on his hands, having killed dozens of people. The bounty level is very high. If you use the bounty task as the initial task, you can improve your initial hunter level. This is equivalent to a hidden option. Chapter 58 Classification, Diamond Hunter. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ding Pan's bounty order level is C. Su Ming knows it very well. Once he submits his bounty task as the initial task, he will be able to directly become a diamond level hunter. 18-year-old newcomer, diamond level hunter. What a terrifying title. The highest level task that ordinary newcomers can accept is D, let alone platinum level. Su Ming will be able to successfully enter the diamond level by completing the bounty task, a hidden option that can be encountered and sought. This is an absolute and significant lead, because after the hunter level is determined, it is very difficult to climb up. Suppose you complete an E-level initial task and are rated as a gold level hunter, then even if you complete 3D level tasks, you will definitely be promoted to platinum level. If the initial task is D level, you can directly promote to platinum level. This is the importance of the initial task, and the importance of the grading. The starting level of the Tianta Club is high or low, and there are two different fates. After Su Ming ranks at the diamond level, he can no longer accept low-level tasks and work hard at the bottom. He will have the right to enjoy more benefits and preferential treatment, so he chose to submit the bounty task as the initial task first, then submit the task of killing the big snake and get the normal reward. This way, the benefits can be maximized. Su Ming's move is really shocking, especially the female salesperson. There was a touch of extreme shock in her eyes. She has worked here for more than 10 years and has never heard of such a precedent. She even knows that there is such a rule. Bounty tasks can actually replace initial tasks and complete grading. But Su Ming's firm eyes made her dare not refute immediately, and at this time, her eyes caught a glimpse of the Tiantui token on Su Ming's waist. The token hanging on the waist, covered by clothes, was Su Ming's own Tiantui token. On that token, the golden characters were fluorescent at this moment. It means that it has been activated. He really has 2 tokens. And the one on the waist has been activated. This means that he has completed the D-level task, but has not submitted it. The Tiantui token is extremely important. It is a symbol of a person's identity and life. Others will never hand it over easily. Su Ming was able to get it, which means that he really killed a wanted criminal of the Tiantui. This fact caused a storm in her heart. She opened her lips slightly and wanted to say something, but under the great shock, her lips seemed to be pressed down, and it was difficult to speak for a long time. I need to ask the higher-ups. As she said that, she left her seat. No one saw that her face turned pale. She had never handled this kind of business before. After a while, she came over with a middle-aged man. This man was dressed in a black robe and had a dignified look on his face. He was obviously a high-level civil servant of the Tienta Hunting Club, similar to an experienced position. He stood with his hands behind his back and walked quickly. The man pointed at Su Ming and asked the female salesperson. Yes. She nodded. This newcomer, I heard that you used the bounty mission as the initial mission to complete the grading. He walked in front of Su Ming and said through the glass with a frown. Su Ming nodded. The man picked up Ding Pan's token in the window. This token was dim, which meant that the owner was dead, but after scanning, Ding Pan's personal information could still be seen. It is indeed a wanted criminal, Ding Pan. Absolutely true, and this is a C-level bounty. The mission reward is a diamond-grade treasure, strong luck fruit, and 50,000 Wanzu coins. If Su Ming submits this mission as an initial mission, he will be able to get the position of a diamond-level hunter. Absolutely a step to heaven. Although there is this rule in the Tienta Club, it has never been implemented. This is really the first time. The middle-aged man said with a solemn face, touching his chin. This is the first time in the Tienta Hunting Club's establishment for so many years. Setting this rule is only to encourage newcomers to do what is right and stop wanted criminals, really kill the wanted criminal. No one expects it. After all, newcomers are almost impossible to kill bounty criminals. Among all the people on the wanted list, which one is the vicious madman? Which one is the experienced criminal expert? To some extent, it can be said that those criminals are more dangerous than mutant beasts. The middle-aged man has worked here for 30 years, and he never thought that this rule would really be implemented one day. Su Ming's face was calm and he smiled faintly. Anyway, the rules are the rules. Please handle it for me, sir. He said. A ray of brilliance flashed in the middle-aged man's eyes and he hesitated for a moment. Although he had the permission, this was really the first time. After thinking for a long time, he finally answered, okay. After all, as Su Ming said, the rules are the rules. He must help Su Ming handle it, otherwise he would be derelict of duty. He raised his hand and waved. Then, a virtual screen appeared in front of him. Hunter, Su Ming. Submit bounty mission. Hunt criminal Ding Pan C-level. Since it is the initial submission of the mission, the grading has been completed. Promoted to Diamond Level Hunter. Received rewards, 50,000 myriad races coins, 1 strong luck fruit, low-grade diamond. Then, Su Ming stopped moving and took out his token. Submit this D-level task. The man nodded and tapped his finger. The screen changed. Submit hunting task. Defeat Python King D. Received. Myriad races coins X10,000, 1 random platinum skill scroll. 2 tasks were submitted in succession. All the task rewards were added to Su Ming's personal column. Then, the material of his personal Tiantui token suddenly changed. It changed from the original grayish color like wood and iron to a translucent diamond token like crystal. The characters in it flashed a deep blue fluorescence. It looked noble and exquisite. Seeing this scene, everyone around the hall was horrified. Diamond. Diamond level. Someone looked confused. Then, someone responded. Oh my god. Su Ming was rated as diamond level. What happened? Everyone was a little crazy. Everyone was still embarrassed for Su Ming in the last second. The next second, they were filled with shock. All the members of the idol team looked over in shock. when they heard the words of the senior staff of the Tienta Club, they were shocked beyond measure. What's going on? The distance is too far. I can't hear the specific details of Su Ming's conversation with the salesperson. Why was he suddenly rated as diamond? Could it be that he completed the D-level task? That's right, the D-level task is rated as platinum. How the hell did he get diamond? He must have used the back door, and bribed the salesperson. People's eyes were shaking with shock. What nonsense are you talking about? The Tienta Hunting Club was established by the Dragon State officials, with extremely strict supervision and even the supreme rules involved. How could it be possible to use the back door? Then, how did he get rated as a diamond? For a moment, a big question mark resounded in everyone's heart. The most shocked of them was Imo Mei. She has always been a very surprised person, her family is very powerful, and she has seen all kinds of strong people and treasures since she was a child. Few things can shock her so much, but today, her eyes were stunned and her heart was filled with shock. Maybe, she murmured in a very low voice. Looking at Su Ming, her eyes were full of disbelief. Even Shen Baiyi, who she thought was the strongest newcomer this year, might be ranked platinum. Su Ming was directly rated as a diamond. This almost reshaped her worldview. Chapter 59, Fruit of Luck. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Even the well-informed Imo Mei was shocked, not to mention the other ordinary members of the Tienta Club team. They stared at Su Ming in amazement. Su Ming seemed not to hear their exclamations and turned and left alone. He walked through the loose crowd without stopping. His eyes were always calm, because everything was within his expectations, so he could always remain calm. Some people called him, greeted him, and approached him. But Su Ming ignored them all. Cows and sheep live in groups, while wolves are always alone. At this time, a girl in black velvet stepped forward and came to Su Ming. It was Imo Mei. She had a hot body and did not hesitate to show off her proud body. Ordinary men would have to take a few more glances, but Su Ming's eyes were always cold. Su Ming, how did you rank as a diamond hunter? That she was really curious and couldn't help asking. Su Ming said calmly. Do we know each other? That he spoke with great momentum. Imo Mei always felt that she could take the initiative in the conversation. This was the first time that she felt suppressed. Her smile became a little stiff. I don't know him, she said slowly. But I can use 100,000 advent coins to buy this news. Are you willing to tell me? That she walked forward slowly and said with her signature charming smile, smelling the faint fragrance on her body. Su Ming frowned slightly. 100,000 advent coins are already a small amount of money for him, but a mosquito leg is still meat no matter how small it is. I can tell you. But, pay first. Su Ming smiled slightly and said. Imo Mei sneered in her heart. She didn't expect him to be a money grubber. There are only 3 kinds of men in the world: love money, love women, and love power. No matter which one, she can satisfy it. In other words, as long as she wanted, she thought she could control any man in the world, even Shen Baiyi, a man who seemed ruthless. She knew it was just a mask. As long as he could break his mask, he could still control her. Su Ming, who seemed to be scheming, could not escape the temptation of money. Very good, she said with a smile. She immediately transferred money to Su Ming. Go ahead. Su Ming saw her expression and knew that she was another young lady who thought she was smart. Su Ming did not expose her. He took the money, and she satisfied her curiosity. Both parties were happy. As for how she thought of him in her heart, Su Ming did not care. I completed a bounty mission. It's that simple. After that, Su Ming left quickly. Not long after, the figure disappeared in the field. Imo Mei heard this and her eyes were solemn. Bounty mission. She had just heard that Su Ming had handed in the bounty token, but now that she heard Su Ming say it himself, she dared to be sure. I didn't expect that the Tienta would have this rule. No one in the family told me. That how could she know that even the largest family would find it difficult to help a young genius complete the bounty task as an initial task? Even Zhang Tang didn't have this treatment. Because it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Every criminal with a bounty is extremely vicious and powerful. Each has their own trump card to save their lives and hide. If you want to kill them, you often have to pay a huge price, and the most important thing is that you can't find them at all. The world is so big, the entire blue star, countless copies, wanting to hunt down a person is like looking for a needle in a haystack. For low-level bounty criminals, such as D-level bounties, it's better to complete the highest level D-level tasks than to hunt them down, so no one has ever used this rule, only Su Ming. She turned her head and wanted to ask something else, but Su Ming's figure had disappeared. Such a poor boy. Why didn't he come to curry favor with her? She frowned slightly, a little unhappy. Why are you so cold like Shen Baiyi? Don't these two handsome brothers think they are cool? Her face was cold and her eyes were slightly condensed. Her eyes were a little playful, as if she was interested, but at the same time, she was also a little angry. From childhood to adulthood, which man didn't flock to her? Such indifference and counterattack aroused her competitive spirit. There is a saying that goes, what you can't get is always in turmoil, so in her heart, she has a special desire to control the two men, Shen Baiyi and Su Ming, that I really want to play with them. She stroked her hair, looked at the horizon, and licked her lips. The genius of the same class as last year is really interesting. Su Ming was walking on the street in the World of Tianta Club. Let's find a place to rest and deal with the spoils. Su Ming murmured. Soon, he found a hotel. It was called the Fat Goose Inn. The owner was really a half-orc, with a goose head and a long duck beak, but a human body. He was wearing a suit. Hello, what suite do you want to book? He had a serious face and spoke in a very pleasant male accent, but Su Ming couldn't help laughing in his heart. I didn't expect to meet orcs in the world of Tianta. Ordinary shelter room. Su Ming said, and transferred 30,000 advent coins. That's right, 1 room, 1 night, is 30,000 advent coins. The land in the world of Tianta is extremely expensive. It is naturally very expensive to live here. Confiscating your Wanzu coins is good. The most important thing is that the world of Tianta is almost absolutely safe. There are very few places in the world that can be called absolutely safe. Su Ming has killed several of Zhang Tang's subordinates now, and he may have attracted attention. He must pay attention to his own safety, so he chose this place. Soon, the fat goose took Su Ming to a room. The shelter room is specially built for customers with privacy and security needs. Please have a good rest. No one will disturb you. The fat goose said, then he turned around and left, locking the door. When leaving, Su Ming noticed that there were 2 chains on the goose-headed man's ankles, and its ankles were already bloody from the shackles. It turned out that this fat goose half-orc was a slave. He was also working here, not the boss. Half-orcs have no human rights in the human world. They can even be killed and sold at will like animals. Su Ming suddenly thought of Leah. That's why Su Ming didn't bring Leah with him. He didn't regret this decision. Then, Su Ming began to count the things he had obtained from completing the tasks. The 2 tasks of the 10,000 races coins added up to about 60,000. Add to that the hundreds of thousands he already had. Now he has more than 200,000, nearly 300,000 10,000 races coins. This number is very scary. Most of the props that Su Ming put up for auction were also sold. The balance of the advent coins is also more than 1 million. There is absolutely no worry about food and clothing. Su Ming took the strong luck fruit, the lower grade diamond reward for completing a C-level bounty mission. Ordinary C-level missions actually don't give diamond level rewards, usually medium grade or high grade platinum. Only B-level missions will give 100% diamond level rewards. Bounty missions are different, because those criminals are extremely harmful to society. Killing them is considered to be eliminating harm for the people, so the rewards are also very generous. C-level bounty missions have a high probability of getting diamond level rewards. Su Ming directly used the essence of all things.